It has been nearly 1 year since Prince Harry and Meghan Markle married in.
We're married in.
In St. George? Yeah, I guess
I mean,
so.
they're married in
the
it.
church. Yeah. Right. Okay.
All right. And 5, 4, 3.
It has been nearly 1 year since Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were married in St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle. Fashion photographer Alexi Lubomirski was there to capture the official portraits of the couple on their wedding day, but that wasn't the only time he worked with them. He also took their engagement photos.
Yep, and Alexi Lubomirski is joining us now.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So, of course, I got to ask you this big announcement. We have a new member of the royal family. Have
Archie.
you received a phone call?
I have not received a phone call. I think when I did the engagement pictures, I thought that was it, and I was lucky enough to do the wedding after that. So if they call me, fantastic. If not, I've had a wonderful run.
Have you worked with babies before?
I've worked with all sorts of animals, babies, anything you like. But.
That's great.
How exhausting was it to shoot the royal wedding? I imagine that was the day that sort of never ended.
But no, it all happened so quickly because you have 25 minutes to photograph like 6 setups of the family, the couple, the bridesmaids, the groomsmen. It passed in like a snap.
And did you feel pressure to sort of comply with the images of previous royal weddings?
I think there's definitely some boundaries you have to work within, sort of like, royal wedding history photos.
Right.
And I think there's
like this one is a fairly classic.
And that's
if you look at Queen Victoria and Prince Albert,
right.
The
it looks
shot
the same.
is very similar.
So it's basically, so you're given these boundaries and you have to try and make tweaks within that to try and make it interesting. So, for example, there was a lot of symmetry in lots of the historical ones. So with the group one, I was really trying to create some rhythm in there and have some sitting, some standing, not so sort of regimented.
Right.
So, but no, it worked out well. It was so fast, it was so planned out, and thank God we got the shot. So.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. And getting all the kids to sit there and to, that's also kind of an ordeal.
Yeah, right? That was thank God for candy. It was when we were in the church. I'd actually heard one of the people who were looking after the kids. They said, if you behave well, you're going to get a Smartie. Now, a Smartie is like an M&M in America.
Yeah, hey, I'm Canadian.
Oh,
so
there you go.
Smarties.
You know Smarties.
Yeah.
There you go. And so as soon as all the kids came into my set, and it was pandemonium, and I suddenly went, okay, who likes Smarties? And all of a sudden it was like.
It was great. You get like 100 in a small box, and you just meter it out bit by bit, right?
I do love the photo of them though on the steps of the chapel. That's like you. That's all you, because I've never seen a royal.
And that was really. They said if we have time after the reception, we're going to give you 2 or 3 minutes. And so, thank God, somebody came to me and said, listen, we got time. And I said, you're going into a rose garden of a castle. It takes more than 3 minutes to walk there, let alone stay there. So we got them down there, and it was just this moment of complete chaos, like taking pictures as fast as I could. And they were slumped in the stairs, and they were exhausted, but relieved and jubilant. And there was just that moment where they look at each other, and then there was laughter and relief, and then you got the picture. But I didn't see any pictures throughout the day. Usually I'm checking the monitor as I go.
Right, you're just snapping.
Complete trust.
Oh, wow.
And so in the car on the way back to my mum's afterwards, I was just tapping through the pictures thinking, please, please, please. And then all of a sudden you get it, and you feel this, tingles. I think I might have cried in the car, actually.
That's really great.
So what you did before this, though, is fashion photography, celebrity photography, portraits. And I've been looking at a lot of your pictures, and I kept on thinking, this is the best any of these people have ever looked, right? Because everyone looks gorgeous. Yeah. And I wondered if you ever had anyone call you up afterwards and say, I hate that picture.
I think people were too polite to say that. No, but I think it comes from my mother. My mother's Peruvian, and it's all about family pictures and sort of doesn't my children look good in that picture, or don't I look good? And so I always had that instilled in me. I always wanted people, even at college when I was taking pictures of friends, the highest compliment that I would get is when somebody said, oh, by the way, my mum says that's the best picture of me ever.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was something about that mum thing, and I just want people to feel like they look beautiful, feel like they've been seen, not feel like I've thrust some creative, tortured vision on them.
Right. So let me ask you about this other initiative that you are working on beyond your royal photography duties and your fashion shoots. It's called Creatives for Change. It's an initiative to stop people from using fur, feathers, exotic skins.
Yes,
it's something that, a lot of people feel very passionately about. What made you get involved in that? Because you're in this industry where if I had to choose one industry where they use this stuff still, it's the fashion industry.
Right, exactly. I think that it's our responsibility, our generation's responsibility, to try and make this industry the best version of itself that it can be before we leave it. You know, it's such a blessing of a job. We get to travel the world, take pictures of fascinating people in amazing dresses in amazing locations. And it shouldn't necessarily come at the expense of people, the environment, or animals. And so I'm trying to sort of shift things a bit and use my platform, which the wedding has given me. And I'm asking creatives, and you could be a photographer, a stylist, a designer, a magazine editor, even a model or an actress, and just say, listen, make the pledge, say that you're no longer going to use these 3 items in your creative output. Because I think creative people forget how much massive power to inspire people they have. In the old days, we took cigarettes out of fashion imagery because we knew that when you take a picture of a gorgeous model in this amazing location smoking a cigarette, a young mind is going to look at that thinking, I want part of that lifestyle. And if that involves cigarettes, I'm going to smoke. But of course, we took it out because it's the right thing to do.
Right.
And I think now we have to use the same line of thinking and try and take the fashion industry into a much more cruelty-free future. I think, unfortunately, nowadays, nobody can really feign ignorance about where these things have come from and how they're made. We all have the information at our fingertips. We can Google in a second how this stuff is made. And we can argue about, or we can discuss about whether it's humane or whether it's to do with culture or tradition or any of these things. And at the end of the day, it just comes down to, you have the information, what does your heart tell you? You know, do you want to have millions of animals suffer and have cruelty so that you can wear this maybe for a couple of times a year? That's all it comes down to.
Yeah.
As if you don't have enough going on, a children's book on top of that?
Children's book, yes. Yeah, we wrote, it's called Thank You for My Dreams, and it's bedtime prayers of gratitude, written by my sons. I was just a secretary on this one. And,
That's great.
And it was really, I guess in my 20s, I started saying thank you for things because you notice how when you're feeling down about stuff, negative energy, how it affects your body. Yeah. And so I decided to flip it, and I wanted to say thank you for things you take for granted every day. I say thank you for my eyes so I can see.
Yes. We had a discussion. Remember that time that we were talking a little bit about that, where you sort of say that we cover a lot of terrible things and we cover some nice things too. And this idea of when you get up in the morning, just the sensation of opening up your eyes and taking in the world is something
100%.
That's kind of a miracle and kind of wonderful that you get to do that, and also in the comfort of our very comfortable beds where some people
How
can
did
do
you
that.
get your children involved?
Well, every day I meditate and I do my thank yous afterwards. And so they would watch me meditate and they'd ask me what I was praying about, so I would explain to them. So then they started meditating with me, and then now we do the thank yous. And at the beginning it was tricky. As you said, when you're not sort of fluent in it, you kind of think, well, what do I have to be thankful for? And you forget about the sun, and you forget about the rainforests that give you oxygen, and you think about your teeth and your legs and your eyes. So we started doing it, and at first it was very difficult because they could only think of 2 or 3 things, and it was chocolate chip cookies, toy train, mummy and daddy maybe if we get lucky. And but now after 5 or 6 months, they have started. They're so fluent that they can go on for hours, and if I will have to stop them. So one night I started writing them down, saying this is fantastic, and I wrote it in their language. So it can range from anything from thank you for blossom on the trees because it makes the city feel like a garden. Thank you for spring because winter's too long.
That's wonderful. That's really cool.
And thank you for mummy and daddy. Thank you for the planets. Thank you for rainforests. And it's really a tool, this book, to try and help parents and children to become more fluent at being grateful and to realize the magic of living a grateful life. And all the proceeds from this book go to a humanitarian charity called Concern Worldwide, which is a fantastic charity. They're in 25 of the poorest countries in the world, bringing basic needs. 90 cents from every dollar they get goes to the people who need it most, and they're amazing.
All right,
wonderful.
Buy the book. Spreading a lot of good vibes out there.
Exactly.
Good energy.
Trying to do something good before I get put in a box.
Alexi Lubomirski, thank you so much for stopping by. We appreciate
Thank you very much.
Really incredible
Thank you.
work.
Thank you.